Hi everyone, welcome. It's day 4 of the Nourished and Free Challenge. I know a few of you were having trouble getting in. I did post the link. Obviously, if you're here, you know that on the front page of the Wholehearted Woman stream. So I apologize for this kind of YouTube and not being able to watch the videos right away. The settings, when I record the video, the settings at public, and then when it's done, it goes to private. And so I'm now learning I have to change it back to public so everyone can watch it. So thank you for your patience with me in just, this is a new way of delivering information, and there's going to be glitches. So thank you all for your patience with me. So this is a big day today. It's dismantling sabotage. So we all sabotage ourselves. We all do things to sabotage our efforts. And inside this challenge, we're learning how to build habits that that take us to our goals, right? Habits are usually about reaching goals or having more intention about what we want to do in life. And so we create habits. So like if health is a goal or health is the way we want to live, we build habits around health. I kept saying that our habits today are an indicator or dictator of our future. So whatever we're doing today habitually it's a dictator of our future, of what's going to happen in our future. And so that's why it's so important to build positive habits that support you and to understand why we sabotage ourselves, or why we can't stick to certain habits, or why we choose habits that aren't good for us or don't serve us or don't help us move towards our goals. And some of you wrote in the comments around yesterday's training, when you're looking at habits being harmful or helpful, a lot of times even though a habit is harmful, there's still a payoff to it. Like we're still getting something from it, whether we get to stay in our comfort zone or we don't have to change. And that's really what today is about, really looking at the things that we do to stop ourselves from being successful and from building habits that stick long term that we know are serving us, and how to actually also see what's behind the habits, the quote unquote negative habits, and how, what's driving them. So what's behind them? And that's what we're looking at today. So this worksheet is really powerful. It talks about goals, and it talks about goals because goals are directly linked to your habits, right? Like I said, when we have goals, we have to create habits to reach those goals. So there's different forms of sabotage, and we all sabotage in different ways. So I listed some of the ways that we sabotage, and I'm going to tell you what those are. So fear of success, not failure. A lot of times we think we have a fear of failure, but I think most of us actually have a fear of success. Not believing in ourselves, that's a way we sabotage. I was on a call with a client today. She's a past client, and she came back around because she's having some stuff come up around food. When she went to the doctor, she was told she has to restrict or start eating meat, and she doesn't eat meat. She doesn't like it. And so all of these triggers started coming up. And what we uncovered was this idea that she believes she's difficult because she eats a certain way. And that was something that was programmed within her in her childhood. Her parents teaching her to never be difficult around anything. And so she's grown up with this belief that if she's different, she's difficult, and that if she goes out to dinner, she's difficult, or if she goes to someone's house and can't eat what they have, she's difficult. So what was below that was like her not believing that she deserves to eat the way she needs to, and to treat her body the way she needs to. So that was really cool, just uncovering that in our coaching session, so that now she can work forward from that place. And inside my 8-week program, we go much, much deeper into this work again, we're scratching the surface here. We can only do so much in 5 days. And I don't want to overwhelm you, but inside the program, we really spend the 8 weeks immersing ourselves in this process and learning more about ourselves and our deeper beliefs, so that when we are building new habits, we know exactly what's standing in the way of them sticking, and we can transform that. And so you're going to work on that a little bit today. And this worksheet's a little bit more extensive than the others. So some other ways we sabotage: being too uncomfortable with good feelings. Oh my gosh, a lot of us, we don't believe we deserve to feel good. And we were raised that way, right? That we shouldn't, that like, don't get too full of yourself. Don't be so happy. Don't feel so good. You know, we were raised that way a lot of times. Bargaining with yourself for immediate gratification. That's another way we sabotage. Like if you're really working on your health and one of the things you want to do is say, cut back on sugar or cut back on eating processed food, then you'll bargain with yourself in the moment. Like, well, I can just have it this one time, or I can do, you know, and then you kind of set yourself up in this mindset that ends up sabotaging your goals and your intentions. So this worksheet, I want you to spend some time with this today, about 20 or 30 minutes. So you're going to do a couple different things. You're going to the first step is on a piece of paper. You're going to list 5 reasons you believe your life will be worse off when you achieve a goal. So think about these habits, right? So whatever your habit was yesterday, right? Think about, I know that was one that we were figuring out triggers for, but if there's one habit that you want to change or one habit that you want to create, think about that habit and what that habit ultimately would lead to, right? Like why you want to create that habit and what you will achieve if you build that habit consistently and it sticks, right? If you build a habit of watching less TV, or you build a habit of taking time away from social media, ultimately doing that is going to help you achieve something, right? Maybe you want more time, or maybe you want more self-care time, or maybe you want to spend more time with your family, or you want to be more present. So it's important that you're understanding like what these habits are going to lead to and how they're supporting you and nourishing you. So when you go through these worksheets, I give tons of examples to help you. This is going to make you think a little bit. It's really important to understand like what our subconscious mind is doing when we're building new habits or when we're thinking about goals, right? Because a lot of times when we're setting goals, we start here, we have to go here, but we have no idea what to do in between. And so that's where the sabotage starts to come in and pick at us. And then we just end up giving up because we don't know what the steps are. We jump from A to Z without knowing what B, C, D, E, F, all that is. So I give some examples of the reasons you believe your life will be worse off when you achieve your goal. So like say someone wants to stop drinking beer or stop drinking, right? One of the things would be if their life was how their life would be worse off. My partner loves beer. I want to go to breweries with him and drink without worrying about calories or carbs, right? So that could be one of the ways you think that your life is going to be worse off if you reach this goal. So, or if you create a habit of not drinking every night, like I won't have bonding time with my partner, and that's going to affect our relationship. So you're going to do that first. Second, you're going to challenge your fears. So you're going to go through each of the statements that you write out, and then you're going to write out what your fears are. So basically writing out the fears, but then challenge it, right? Like challenge each of these statements, whatever you're writing. You're going to challenge it by asking if it's really true, right? And is it really true that nothing, like if you have a belief that nothing works long-term, so why bother? Question that. Start to go deeper into the process. And again, I give examples here so that when you're going through it, you're really understanding what I'm talking about. So say like if weight loss is one of your goals, right? And you, or dating, say dating is one of your goals, but you're scared to put yourself out there. And maybe you think you have to lose weight before you date, right? So this is kind of a big example, but something that you could be scared of is like, oh my gosh, if I actually lose the weight and I start dating, then I'll like really have to put myself out there, you know, and people will see the real me, and ultimately I could get hurt. So there's all kinds of different things that come up when we're thinking about our goals and our habits, where we stop ourselves, like fears that we have. And so that's what this is for. This is for you to challenge your fears when the sabotaging thoughts come up. So the third part is that you're going to list the reasons why you believe your life will be better once you achieve the goal, right? So if you are building habits toward health, right? What are all the ways your life will be better if you're healthier? If you're building habits toward not spending as much time on social media, you're going to have so much more time. You're going to be able to connect with your kids. You're going to feel more connected to yourself, right? So there's a lot of ways you can feel better by not spending as much time on social media. So until we identify and deal with the reasons we fear certain things, we're never going to have those things. We have to deal with our fears. We have to look at them. And so a lack of knowledge about what's good for us is rarely the real problem, right? We all know what's good for us. You know, we all know that, but we're not always doing it, right? So the thing that we lack the most is consistent action. And that's what my habit building course is about, is learning how to build consistent action behind your habits, dismantling the unconscious beliefs that sabotage your habits every time you try to build new habits. I can't tell you how many of my clients come back to me, like, or people in general come to me time and time again, and I hear the same thing, or they're in my community, I hear the same thing that they said 5 years ago. And I'm like, okay, that's human nature. And like, what happened? You were on this great track. What happened? What stopped you? Where did you get stuck? And that's what people often don't look at. They'll just be on this track, then they'll start doing things to get off that track, and they don't pay attention. And then all of a sudden they're like, oh my God, I put on 15 pounds in the last like year or whatever. Or I am totally wasting time every single night scrolling on social media versus doing something valuable that's going to support me. Right? So we get caught in these cycles, and that's okay. It's part of being human. And it's important to look at those cycles. It's important to understand them. And it's important to see where it's coming from within you and what you can do about it moving forward. So again, this is going deep into our fears, our successes, all of those things. And I want you to post inside the Wholehearted Woman group, even though it says Facebook on here. I need to change that. What you noticed and what you learned about yourself through doing this process. This is a pretty big process. And, you know, this is a 5-day challenge. And like I said, we're scratching the surface, but this one goes deep today. And I want you to spend time with this, and it might feel hard. And if you walk away, just know that that's a habit. That's you sabotaging yourself. If you walk away from this, if you don't do it and it feels too hard, there's no right way. Just do it, right? Because you're going to learn something about yourself in the process. So don't think it has to be right. Just know that if you do it, you're going to learn about yourself, and it's going to give you information to help you move forward when we move into tomorrow. And then I'll be sharing more about the 8-week program where you can go even further with what we've learned here. Again, we're scratching the surface. We can only do so much in 5 days. And I don't want to overwhelm you, because then you're just going to give up totally. So go through this, spend the time today, really just light a candle, slow down, spend the time going through the worksheets, and then let me know inside the Wholehearted Woman group what you learned. I'm loving seeing all the comments, lots of great interaction in there, people showing up. I love that someone called themselves out on not consistently showing up for herself. Thank you for that. And just continue to show up. If you can't get to the live trainings, watch them afterwards. I'm posting them, I'm emailing them. You have no excuses. You have everything in your lap. Okay, everyone, I'll be back tomorrow, same time. I look forward to our final training, which is going to be a little bit longer tomorrow. I'm going to talk all about share about the 8-week program, how you can gain access to that, the bonuses I'm offering, and the discounts I'm offering with that as well. It's my cheapest course out there, and the value you get is way beyond, 10 times beyond the cost of the course. So I can't wait to share it with you. Show up tomorrow. If you can't, watch the recording and let me know what you learned through this process. All right, I'll see you all tomorrow. Have a great day.